Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Monday, February 12th, 2024. Today we're going to recap Super Bowl 58 and the game and the halftime and all that jazz. NBA, NHL, college basketball, recap from the weekend, look ahead to tonight. We have soccer, golf, news and notes, and best bet. We'll start the Super Bowl. It was a fun finish to a really good game as the Chiefs come out on top by a score of 25-22 in overtime on a game-winning touchdown from Patrick Mahomes to Mecole Hardman with 3 seconds left in overtime for the Chiefs to get the win. Mahomes was outstanding, 34 of 46, 333 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Brock Purdy, 23 of 38, 255 yards and a touchdown. Christian McCaffrey was outstanding. If the 49ers held on, he would have been Super Bowl MVP. 22 carries for 80 yards on the ground and through the air. 8 receptions for 80 yards and a touchdown. Patrick Mahomes was 9 for 66 on the ground. And Travis Kelce, 9 for 93. So there was no scoring in the first quarter. And I considered betting on a scoreless quarter. So that's one of my regrets from Super Bowl betting. Second quarter, 55-yard field goal by Jake Moody makes it 3-0 San Francisco. And how about this? Jauan Jennings throws a 21-yard touchdown pass to Christian McCaffrey. Niners go up 10-0, and then with 20 seconds left in halftime, Harrison Butker kicks 10-3 San Francisco at the half. Third quarter, Harrison Butker, 37-yard field goal, makes it 10-6. And then Kansas City takes lead for the first time with a Patrick Mahomes touchdown pass to Marquez Valdes-Scantling for 16 yards. Then in the fourth quarter, San Francisco retakes the lead on a 10-yard pass from Brock Purdy to Jauan Jennings. Jake Moody, PAT blocked. Harrison Butker kicks a field goal to tie it up at 16 apiece with 5:46 left in the fourth quarter. Jake Moody puts the Niners up by 3, 19-16 and 1:53 to go, and then 3 seconds left in regulation. Harrison Butker, 29-yard field goal, 19-19 overtime. 49ers milked down a lot of clock in overtime. Jake Moody, 27-yard field goal, 22-19. And then their defense can't get a stop. Casey goes for it midfield on fourth down, and Mahomes gets it. And eventually, Mahomes to Hardman 3 yards for the win as the Kansas City Chiefs repeat as Super Bowl champions. So, congrats to the Chiefs. Congrats to Patrick Mahomes. Congrats to Taylor Swift and the Swifties. You could argue this is a game that the Chiefs probably should not have won, like last year against the Eagles. But, of course, we all say a win is a win, and they won when it matters votes, and they found the way to win. So, they earned it. The 49ers really made them earn it. And, obviously, Mahomes wins Super Bowl MVP. And rightfully so. He was the best player on the field in the game. So, I'm going to preview a little bit of what you're going to be seeing from the podcast within the next couple weeks before the offseason really gets rocking and rolling. I'm going to do one podcast dedicated per team, and I'll go over who's a free agent on each team, which player will get franchise tagged by each team, who's a cut candidate, who's a trade candidate, who's a retirement candidate, and predict who or what team will each do in the offseason, who's a good free agent fit and who's a good draft fit. So, key free agents for the Chiefs: Chris Jones, L'Jarius Sneed, Mike Donna, Willie Gay, Donovan Smith, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Jerick McKinnon, Trey Tranquill, Mike Edwards, Derek Nottie, Tershawn Wharton, Tommy Townsend, Mecole Hardman, Richie James, Blaine Gabbert, the backup quarterback, Nick Alergetti, Blake Bell, Deion Bush, and James Winchester. So some big names in there. Jones, Snead, Gay on defense. Edwards, Hilaire, and McKinnon on offense. Tranquil on defense. A couple special teams guys. So the Chiefs have a lot of work to do in the offseason if they are to three-peat as Super Bowl champions. I understand Mahomes and Andy Reid are the foundation, but they have some questions. Let's face it. They have questions going into the offseason, and they have challengers not within the conference, but in their own division for next season. All right, the 49ers, just a terrible way to lose in the Super Bowl. Having the lead with less than 2 minutes to go and being unable to hold on, and same for an overtime. That defense was just gassed, and what arguably cost them the Super Bowl was that they lost Trey Greenlaw to a torn Achilles as he ran on the field. If he didn't get hurt, maybe they win the game. That was a big injury, and their defense fell apart really in the second half after being outstanding in the first half. That was the best their defense looked all playoffs in the first half of that game. And then their defense looked as bad as it did against the Lions and the Packers in the second half of that game. So 49ers key free agents. Chase Young, who they traded for. That, by the way, might go down as a not-so-great acquisition. Tashawn Gibson, John Feliciano, Javon Kinlaw, Sam Darnold, Owen Burks, Clelin Ferrell, Randy Gregory, Kevin Givens, Sebastian Joseph Day, Ben Barch, Ross Dwelly, Charlie Warner, Demetrius Flanagan-Foles, Logan Ryan, Chris Conley, Matt Pryor, Brandon Allen. I think the Chiefs have more free agent stuff to worry about this offseason than the 49ers do. But there's some interesting names on here. I don't know if the 49ers will bring back Chase Young because he really didn't live up to the hype. Kinlaw's a big one. Gibson's a big one. But there are more big ones, in my opinion, on Kansas City than there are with the 49ers. But 49ers had a good season. They're the 1 seed. I think too many people are going to be crapping on Brock Purdy. Meanwhile, the defense collapsed in the second half in overtime. Not really Purdy. Purdy drove back and gave them the lead, so at least give him credit for that. But people pretend like defenses don't exist, and who knows going to take the shit is Purdy and Shanahan. I mean, Shanahan deserves some blame, absolutely, but my point is just don't forget that defense exists in the NFL, and that unit, I think, should be criticized, and so should their defensive coordinator. But we'll see what happens with both of these teams this offseason. We're likely to be back in the Super Bowl next year. I know at this time a year ago I said the Eagles. But for me, I would probably say the 49ers because you have Joe Burrow coming back. You have Lamar. You have Josh Allen all in that conference. And then you have Jim Harbaugh with the Chargers now. You have Aaron Rodgers coming back with the Jets next year, although I do not think they're going to be in the Super Bowl, but they become a threat with Rodgers if he's healthy. Dolphins, they'll probably be better. The Steelers are going to be better. The Browns, we'll see with Deshaun. So I think the Chiefs have more competition than the Niners do. I mean, the case against the Niners is that Jordan Love becomes a super duper duper star quarterback, and they're all of a sudden a perennial contender with Jordan Love. Philly bounces back from its second half collapse. Dallas would have been more of a threat with Bill Belichick, honestly, than with Mike McCarthy, but they still have to be mentioned. Who knows with Seattle? I think they're going to take a step back. The Rams will always be a challenger in that division as long as Sean McVay's there, and Aaron Donald and Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp and now Puka and Kobe Turner a part of that core. So the Niners do have some challengers, but not on the degree of Kansas City with the quarterbacks in that conference, and now Jim Harbaugh in their own division. So it's going to be interesting, of course, next year, and it's going to be fun, and I'm looking forward to doing these podcasts, and I think I'm going to start them potentially tonight with Arizona and Atlanta. So the halftime, Usher, I thought the halftime show was awesome. He opened with Caught Up, which caught me by surprise. I thought he was going to open with Oh My God. He performed Love in This Club, and Oh My God was kind of in the middle. And right before Oh My God, he had Alicia Keys come out, and she sang a little bit of her song If I Ain't Got You, and then they went into My Boo together, and that was awesome. I thought Alicia should have sang Girl on Fire. I think it would have been more of a let's go woo for the audience. But If I Ain't Got You's a good song. It's one of her OG songs. I understand that, but I would have preferred Girl on Fire, especially with her wearing the red. Like, it would have made sense. And then a lot of other guests came out. Her came out and performed. will.i.am was somebody that wasn't really expected to be on stage with them, and then he closed the show with Yeah, like we thought he would. And of course Lil Jon and Ludacris came out, and that was awesome. And so I thought Usher's was good. I still thought Lady Gaga's was better. I thought the Black Eyed Peas, a show that Usher was a part of in 2011, I thought that was better. I thought The Weeknd's, weirdly enough, was better. I liked this better than the Eminem one from a couple years ago, and I thought Rihanna's last year was better, even though Rihanna didn't have any surprise guests. But the halftime shows have been awesome the last couple years. I'm not saying Usher's was bad. I thought Usher's was good, but I thought that some of them over the past decade or so were better. So commercials. I thought some of the commercials were really good. But I'll be honest, my favorite Super Bowl commercial was Arnold Schwarzenegger reunited with Danny DeVito. I thought that was awesome. The Doritos Dina and Mita commercial with Jenna Ortega and Danny Ramirez was good. Verizon's Can't Be Broken commercial was good. Of course, we always have the Budweiser commercial. This was like an old school delivery kind of deal. Christopher Walken was in the BMW commercial. That was pretty good. The Dove commercial was good. There was an NFL Born to Play commercial. 'Cause and that was pretty cool with Justin Jefferson in it. And one of my other favorite ones was the Uber Eats commercial with David Schwimmer, Jennifer Aniston, Usher, and then David and Victoria Beckham and Jelly Roll. That was awesome. So a little bit of a Friends and celebrity singers together. That was pretty cool. There was a Dunkin' commercial. With Matt Damon and Tom Brady. That was pretty good. They call it the Dun Kings. There's a good Kia commercial. There was one with Ken Jeong in it, which was pretty cool. But for me, by far, the best commercial was with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito, who were in a couple of movies together, including Junior. So, that to me was the best commercial of the Super Bowl. And they were promoting Usher's halftime show a lot throughout the show before it took place. Celebrities at the Super Bowl. Obviously Taylor Swift. I mean, that was a duh. She made it from Tokyo in time. You knew she wasn't missing it. We also had LeBron James. Excuse me. Lady Gaga, Beyonce, and Jay-Z. Henrik Lundqvist was there, former Rangers goalie. Some of the Dance Moms cast was there. JoJo Siwa, Chloe Lukasiak, Nia Fraser, Kendall Vertez. They're all there with Jenna Johnson, and Kendall's mom Jill was there. And then Kalani was there too. I forgot about her. So we had the Dance Moms crew there. But there was a lot of big name celebrities there. And a lot of them were not involved at the halftime festivities, which and there some of them do have some ties to Usher, like Jay-Z. Could have made an appearance. I feel like Jay-Z's a pick to appear in a halftime show every year. And he never does. I mean, he could have done it with Beyonce. He could have done it with Rihanna last year in Umbrella. He could have done it this year if Alicia sang Empire State of Mind, but they weren't in New York, so why would she sing that? But yeah, it was a fun game. I was wrong about the outcome. If the 49ers held on, I would have won with McCaffrey Super Bowl MVP probably. So a little bummed about that. But I did win some money in bets. I hit any kicker to miss an extra point. I hit Juwan Jennings anytime touchdown. I hit my Chiefs plus 4.5 and under 50.5. I hit the under 47.5. And the funny thing is that I was at 46.5 when the game started. So those people that bet the over at 46.5, it went over. So I was on the right side of the under. So that's good. So yeah, fun game. Keep an eye out for the off-season podcasts that will be coming your way, maybe starting tonight. Okay, now move on to the NBA. That was a lot of Super Bowl talk, and rightfully so. We'll go over the NBA from the weekend and look ahead to tonight. Friday, Hawks over the Sixers, 127-121. Celtics over the Wizards, 133-129. Raptors over the Rockets, 107-104. Bucks over the Hornets, 120-84. Kings over the Nuggets, 135-106. And the Lakers over the Pelicans, 139-122. Saturday, Mavs over the Thunder, 146-111. Clippers over the Pistons, 112-106. Nets over the Spurs, 123-103. Hornets over the Grizzlies, 115-106. Magic over the Bulls, 114-108 in OT. Sixers over the Wizards, 119-113. Pacers over the Knicks, 125-111. Hawks over the Rockets, 122-119. Cavs over the Raptors, 119-95. Warriors over the Suns, 113-112. And the Pelicans over the Blazers, 93-84. And then yesterday, the Celtics over the Heat, 110-106. And the Thunder over the Kings, 127-113. All right, so we have 10 games tonight. 7 o'clock, you have the Pacers at the Hornets. My line is the Pacers by 11, half total 237. And 7/20. And it is Indy by 10, half total 238. Ooh. Slight lean to Indy minus the points. Next, Sixers Cavs. My line is the Cavs 14 1/4, 12 to 28 and 3/20, and it's 10 and 229 and a half. I'm laying it with Cleveland, no Embiid, and that game should not be close. 7:30 Bulls Hawks. My line is the Hawks by 1, total 234 and 17/20, and it is 4 and 238. Under. Spurs Raptors. My line is the Raptors 7 half, total 232 and 3/20, and it's 6 and 236 and a half. Under. 8 o'clock Knicks Rockets. My line is the Rockets 2 1/4, total 225 and 3/5, and it is Knicks 4 1/2, total 222. I don't understand the Knicks favoritism without Randall and OG Anunoby. I understand the Rockets are missing VanVleet and Eason too. And the Knicks might be missing Hartenstein tonight as well. So I'm taking Houston, getting the 4.5 and plus 156 outright. That was not impressive what the Knicks were against Indiana without those guys. I know Brunson was back, but the case against that was Tyrese Halliburton's awesome. Indy played well. And the Knicks have Bojan now. So I probably should have adjusted for that. But we'll see. Pelicans Grizzlies. My line is the Pelicans 9 1/2, total 224 and 7/10, and it's 9 and 222. Over. NBA TV Nuggets Bucks. My line is the Nuggets by a half, total 233 and 9/10, and it's 1 and 232. Slight over. Next, 8:30 Wizards Mavs. My line is the Mavs 13 1/4, total 237 and 7/10. And it's 13 1/2 and 247 1/2 under. That's way too high. 9 o'clock Warriors Jazz. My line is the Jazz 2 3/4, so 237 1/4. And it's Warriors by 1, total 241. I like the under. And last but not least, 10:30 NBA TV game of the night. T-Wolves Clippers. My line is the Clippers by 2 3/4, so 225 and 3/5. And it is 4 and 223 and a half. I like the over. I'm surprised it's that low. I know both teams play good defense, but I like the over in that spot. Okay, NHL. We'll go over the results from the weekend and look ahead to tonight's slate, which I expect to be small. All right, Friday. Wild over the Pens 3-2. Rangers over the Blackhawks 4-3 in OT. Oilers over the Ducks 5-3. So best bet from Friday 1. Saturday, Blues over the Sabres 3-1. Stars over the Habs 3-2. Red Wings over the Canucks 4-3 OT. Flames over the Isles 5-2. Caps over the Bruins 3-0. Panthers over the Avs 4-0. Sens over the Leafs 5-3. Flyers over the Kraken 3-2. Canes over the Devils 1-0 in OT. Lightning over the Blue Jackets 4-2. Jets over the Pens 2-1. Preds over the Coyotes 5-4 in OT. Kings over the Oilers 4-0. And then yesterday, Blues over the Habs 7-2. Canucks over the Caps 3-2 in OT. Yep, small slate tonight, only 4 games. 7 o'clock, you have the Flames at the Rangers. Rangers going for 4 in a row after the All-Star break and 5 wins in a row in general. Rangers minus 162, Flames plus 134, over under 6.5, overs plus 106, unders minus 130. Flames plus 1.5 is minus 176, Rangers minus 1.5 is plus 146. I'm going to go with over 3.5 Ranger goals at plus 102. Their offense is starting to come to life a little bit. Kraken Devils. Devils minus 144, the Kraken plus 120, over under 6.5, overs minus 106, unders minus 114. Kraken plus 1.5 is minus 194, Devils minus 1.5 is plus 160. I like the under, but I don't feel strong about it. Coyotes Flyers. Flyers minus 154, Coyotes plus 128, over under 5.5, overs minus 120, unders minus 102. Coyotes plus 1.5 is minus 192, Flyers minus 1.5 is plus 158. This is a tough one, but I'm going to go with over 2.5 Arizona goals, minus 118. And last but not least, 10 o'clock, Wild Golden Knights. Vegas minus 146, Minnesota plus 122, over under 5.5. Overs minus 128, unders plus 104. Wild plus 1.5 is minus 200, Vegas minus 1.5 is plus 164. I'm going to go with the under 5.5 at plus 104, but I do not feel super about it. Okay, college basketball from the weekend. We'll go over the results and look ahead to tonight. So, Friday results. VCU over number 18, Dayton, 49-47. Nevada over number 24, San Diego State, 70-66 in OT. And Colorado State over San Jose State, 66-47. Notable Saturday results. Number 1, UConn over Georgetown, 85-64. Rutgers over number 11, Wisconsin, 78-56. Number 16, Alabama over LSU, 109-92. Clemson over Syracuse, 77-68. Loyola Chicago over George Washington, 81-73. Columbia over Brown, 83-69. Number 18, Creighton over Xavier, 78-71. Excuse me. St. Joe's over St. Louis, 87-86. Number 18, South Carolina over Vandy, 75-60. Max Sunbelt Challenge, App State over Toledo, 109-104 in double overtime. High Point over Gardner-Webb, 78-62. Number 9, Duke over Boston College, 80-65. Michigan State over number 10, Illinois, 88-80. Number 14, Iowa State over TCU, 71-59. Max Sunbelt Challenge, Georgia State over Miami of Ohio, 73-53. Max Sunbelt Central Michigan over Old Dominion, 58-57. Max Sunbelt Southern Miss over Western Michigan at 86-54. Indiana State over Missouri State, 73-71. UNC Wilmington over Hampton, 95-65. Butler over Providence, 75-72. Richmond over LaSalle, 82-65. Duquesne over St. Bonaventure, 75-69. Yale over Cornell, 80-78. Hartford over Dartmouth, 77-59. George Mason over Davidson, 57-55. Max Sunbelt Arkansas State over Ohio, 187. Max Sunbelt Buffalo over Georgia Southern, 82-81 in OT. Max Sunbelt Yale Monroe over Eastern Michigan, 82-76. Max Sunbelt South Alabama over Northern Illinois, 75-66. Texas over West Virginia, 94-58. South Florida over Rice, 69-65. Fresno State over Air Force, 68-66. Western Carolina over Mercer, 79-46. Florida over number 12 Auburn, 81-65. Charleston over Drexel, 80-70. Morris State over Eastern Illinois, 69-57. Number 3 North Carolina over Miami, 75-72. Number 5 Houston over Cincinnati, 67-62. Gonzaga over number 17 Kentucky, 89-85. Number 23 Texas Tech over UCF, 66-59. Wake over NC State, 83-79. East Carolina over UTSA, 84-73. Belmont over Valpo, 96-78. Murray State over Evansville, 73-70. Delaware over William & Mary, 69-58. Ohio State over Maryland, 79-75 in double overtime. Chattanooga over Greensboro, 89-61. Max Sunbelt Troy over Kent State, 78-68. Max Sunbelt Texas State over Ball State, 68-60. Wazoo over Oregon, 62-56. Colgate over Loyola Maryland, 76-62. McNeese over A&M Corpus Christi, 74-67. UCLA over Cal, 61-60. Number 4, Kansas over number 13, Baylor, 64-61. Number 7, Marquette over St. John's, 86-75. Max Sunbelt, James Madison over Akron, 73-59. Notre Dame over Virginia Tech, 74-66. Drake over Bradley, 74-67. Arkansas over Georgia, 78-75. Furman over East Tennessee State, 65-63. Princeton over Penn, 77-70. Louisville over Georgia Tech, 79-67. Nebraska over Michigan, 79-59. Washington over Oregon State, 67-55. Oklahoma over Oklahoma State, 66-62. Southern Illinois over Illinois State, 69-66. Wofford over to the Citadel, 77-64. Number 2, Purdue over Indiana, 79-59. Texas A&M over number 6, Tennessee, 85-69. UNLV over number 25, New Mexico, 80-77. Arizona State over Utah, 85-77. Virginia over Florida State, 80-76. Liberty over La Tech, 65-62. Mississippi State over Missouri, 75-51. St. Mary's over Portland, 76-51. Pepperdine over Loyola Marymount, 72-63. Number 8, Arizona over Colorado, 99-79. Number 21, BYU over Kansas State, 72-66. Number 22, Utah State over Boise State, 80-61. Stanford over USC, 99-68. San Fran over Santa Clara, 71-70. San Diego over Pacific, 89-84. Northridge over Santa Barbara, 82-74. And Hawaii over UC Davis, 87-70. Sunday, number 20, FA over Wichita State, 95-82 in OT. Villanova over Seton Hall, 80-54. Northwestern over Penn State, 68-63. UAB over Tulsa, 70-63. Charlotte over Temple, 73-70. SMU over North Texas, 71-68. Memphis over Tulane, 90-78. UMass over Rhode Island, 81-79. Max Sunbelt, Louisiana over Bowling Green, 86-60. Iowa over Minnesota, 90-85. And UIC over Northern Iowa, 71-65. All right, tonight's slate in college basketball. 6:30, you have Alabama State and Southern. My line's Southern, 6.8, total 141. And it's 4.5 and 135.5. Over. 7 o'clock on ESPN, Wake Forest and number 9, Duke. Mine's Duke, 7.3, total 149 and 3/4, and it's 7.5 and 151.5. On their slate, Lehigh Bucknell on CBS Sports Network. Mine's Bucknell, 1.3, total 141 and 3/4. It's 1.5 and 140.5. Slight over. 7:30, Incarnate Word hosting Lamar. My line's Lamar, 3 3/4, total 52 and 13/20. And it is 5.5 and 153.5. Slight lead, Incarnate Word. A&M Corpus Christi Nichols. My line is Nichols, 3 1/4, total 144 and 19/20. And it's A&M Corpus Christi, 3.5, total 140.5. Give me Nichols plus the points and plus 128 outright. New Orleans, Northwestern State. My line is Northwestern State, 3/5, total 150 and 11/20. And it's 3.5 and 156.5. Under. That's too high. Texas Southern Bethune. My line is Texas Southern by a 5th, total 142 and 13/20. And it's Bethune, 2.5, total 143.5. I'm going to take Texas Southern plus the points and plus 116 outright. 8 o'clock, West Virginia TCU. Mine's TCU by 9, total 147 and 3/10. And it's 12.5 and 149.5. I'm going to take West Virginia to cover. Southeast Louisiana and A&M Commerce. My line is Southeast Louisiana 1.7, total 138 and 17/20. And we have 2.5 and 131.5. I like the over. McNeese, Houston Christian. My line is McNeese 9.7 to 146 and 3/4. And it's 21.5 and 150.5. Whew, that's high. Give me Houston Christian in the points. 8:30, Alcorn State, Miss Valley State. My line's Alcorn 7.8, total 142 and 13/20. And it's 10.5 and 134.5. I like the over. Alabama A&M Grambling. My line's Grambling 11.7, total 142 9/20, and it's 8.5 and 135.5. I like the over. Jackson State, Arkansas, Pine Bluff. My line's Pine Bluff by 1, so it'll win 54 4/5. And it is Jackson State 1.5, total 156.5. So this is a hard one. So I'm going to say Pine Bluff plus 1.5 and minus 102 outright. 9 o'clock on ESPN, game of the night. Number 4, Kansas. Number 23, Texas Tech. My line is Kansas 3/4, total 145 and 3/10. And it's Texas Tech 2.5, total 144.5. That's crazy that they're favored. Give me Kansas plus points to plus 116 outright. I know it's probably Vegas knows. CBS Sports Network, Elon Townsend. My line, Townsend 8.7, total 140 and 13/20. And it's 11.5 and 136.5 over. And last but not least, Prairie View and Florida A&M on ESPNU. My line's Prairie View 1.3, total 147 and 3/20. And it's 1.5 and 147.5, very close. So, a fifth of an edge on Florida A&M. A little more than that on the under. So, slightest of leans to the under. Okay, now on soccer. We'll go over the results from the weekend and look ahead to everything going on today. All right, Liga MX from the weekend. I know we're going to go in a random order. Mazatlan over Atlas 2-0. Tijuana Carretera 1-1 draw. That was Friday night. Saturday night. Necaxa Toluca 3-3 draw. Guadalajara over Juarez 2-1. America over Leon 1-0. Cruz Azul over Lake San Luis 3-0. Monterrey over Pachuca 3-2. And Tigres over Santos 3-0. Sunday, UNAM over Puebla 3-0. Bundesliga. Friday, Dortmund over Freiburg 3-0. Saturday, Union Berlin over Wolfsburg 1-0. Gladbach Darmstadt 1-1 draw. Frankfurt Bochum 1-1 draw. Augsburg RP Leipzig 2-2 draw. Heidenheim over Bremen 2-1 and Leverkusen over Bayern 3-0. Sunday, Stuttgart over Mainz 3-1 and Hoffenheim Cologne 1-1 draw. League 1, Friday, Marseille Metz 1-1 draw. Saturday, Lens over Strasbourg 3-1. PSG over Lille 3-1. Sunday, Rennes over Le Havre AC 1-0. Clermont Brest 1-1 draw. Lorient over Reims 2-0. Nantes over Toulouse 2-1. Lyon over Montpellier 2-1. And Monaco over Nice 3-2. Dutch Eredivisie from the weekend. Friday, RKC Waldwick over NEC 2-0. Saturday, FC Twente over Excelsior 3-0. Almere City AC Alkmaar 0-0 draw. And Heracles over Vitesse 3-2. Sunday, Go Ahead Eagles PC Zwolle 1-1 draw. FC Utrecht over Fortuna 4-0. Heerenveen over Ajax 3-2. PSV over FC Volendam 5-1. And Feyenoord over Sparta 2-0. Scottish Premiership. Sunday, Dundee over St. Johnstone 2-1. ELC. Friday, Sheffield Wednesday over Birmingham 2-0. Saturday, Ipswich West Brom 2-2 draw. Blackburn over Stoke 3-1. Preston over Cardiff 2-0. Swansea over Hull 1-0. Leeds over Rotherham 3-0. Bristol City over Borough 2-1. QPR Norwich City 2-2 draw. Southampton over Huddersfield 5-3. Sunderland over Plymouth 3-1. Excuse me. Leicester over Watford 2-1. And then yesterday, Coventry over Millwall 2-1. Premier League Saturday, Man City over Everton 2-0. Fulham over Bournemouth 3-1. Liverpool over Burnley 3-1. Sheffield United over Luton 3-1. Tottenham over Brighton 2-1. Brentford over Wolves 2-0. Newcastle over Nottingham Forest 3-2. How is there no draws on Saturday? And then Sunday, Arsenal over West Ham 6-0. And Man United over Aston Villa 2-1. And then today, 3 o'clock, you have Crystal Palace hosting Chelsea. Should be a good game. So Chelsea's minus 145. Crystal Palace is 4-1. The draw's plus 280. I like the under 2.5 goals at -108. Maybe Chelsea wins 2-0. La Liga from the weekend. Friday, Betis over Cadiz 2-0. Saturday, Alves Villarreal 1-1 draw. Osasuna over Real Sociedad 1-0. Real Madrid over Girona 4-0. And Las Palmas over Valencia 2-0. And then yesterday, Getafe over Celta Vigo 3-2. Mallorca over Rayo 2-1. Sevilla over Atletico 1-0. And Barcelona Granada 3-3 draw. And then today, 3 o'clock, you have Almeria and Athletic. Athletic -140, Almeria +380. The draws +250. I'm going over 2.5 goals at +102. Serie A from the weekend. Empoli over Salernitana 3-1. Saturday, Lazio over Cagliari 3-1. Inter Milan over AS Roma 4-2. Sassuolo Torino 1-1 draw. Sunday, Fiorentina over Frosinone 5-1. Bologna over Lecce 4-0. Monza Verona 0-0 draw. Atalanta over Genoa 4-1. And Milan over Napoli 1-0. All right, today, 2:45, you have Juventus and Udinese. Juventus -270, Udinese 7-1. The draws +310. I like over 2.5 goals at +118. I quickly want to touch on the Asian Cup and the Africa Cup. So we are going to touch on those results from the weekend. So Africa Cup of Nations, that was a 0-0 draw, but South Africa won 6-5 on penalties. So South Africa wins that one. And the AFC Asian Cup, Qatar beats Jordan 3-1. So Qatar wins that one. And then some club friendlies. Orlando City over New England 3-1. This is a preseason MLS game. So there you have it for soccer. Now on the golf. We will go over the results from the Phoenix Open. So it was a playoff. Your winner with the score 21 under with a 7 in the playoff. Charlie Hoffman. Second, 21, 6 in the playoff. Nick Taylor. Tied for third with 18 under Scotty Scheffler and Sam Burns. Fifth with 17 under Steve Thiglia. Tied for sixth with 14 under Matt McNeely and Jordan Spieth. Tied for eighth with 13 under Andrew Novak, Kurt Katayama, Adam Scott, Justin Thomas, Cam Young, Saibu Kim, and Doug Gim. Tied for 15th with 11 under Matt Fitzpatrick and Davis Thompson. Tied for 17th with 10 under Keith Mitchell, Taylor Hogue, Harry English, Tommy Kim, Adam Schenk. Tied for 22nd with 9 under Justin Su, Jonathan Vegas, Hideki Matsuyama, Dylan McCarthy, Brendan Todd, Emiliano Grillo. Tied for 28th with 8 under Alex Baddeley, Ben Griffin, Hayden Buckley, S.H. Kim, Scott Stevens, Thomas Dietrich, Corey Connors, Daniel Berger, Christian Ziedenhout, Jake Knapp, and Jim Nose. Tied for 39th with 7 under, Taylor Montgomery and Taylor Moore. Tied for 41st with 6 under, Sammy Valimaki, Ryan Fox, Bayo Hassler, Brett Horschel, Harry Hall, Wyndham Clark, Joel Dahman, Carson Young, Eric Cole. Tied for 49th with 5 under, Grayson Higo, Zach Blair, Kevin Chappell. Tied for 53rd with 4 under, Tyson Alexander, Alex Loren, Martin Laird, Matt Wallace, Tyler Duncan, Justin Lauer, Mark Hubbard. Tied for 60th with 3 under, Robbie Shelton, Zach Johnson, Shane Lowry, Brian Harmon, and Adrian Dumont de Chassert. 65th with 2 under, Bud Cauley. Tied for 66th with 1 under, Sanjay M, Nate Hardy, Seamus Power, Byung Ganon, and Jesse Mueller. Tied for 71st at even, Min Woo Lee and Matthew Neesmith. 73rd with 2 over, Nicolo Galetti. Notables cut: Lucas Donald, Evan Van Rooyen, Adam Svensson, Luke List, Adam Putnam, Aaron Ray, Sam Ryder, Dylan Wu, Will Gordon, Stuart Singh, JT Potson, Cam Champ, Camilo Vegas, Ryan Moore, CAU, Max Homa, J.J. Spawn, Robert McIntyre, Brandon Wu, Ben Martin, Kyung Lee, Scott Stallings, Chad Ramey, Michael Kim, Nate Lashley, Victor Perez, Chris Goddard, Chasen Hadley, Peter Malnati, Trey Merritt, Alex Jork, Grayson Sieg, Lucas Hodges, Ben Coles, Austin Eckroat, Callum Tarrant, Nicholas Echevarria, Victor Norman, Ben Taylor, Patton Kazir, Chesner V, David Slipsky, Matthias Schmid, Joseph Vermette, Grayson Murray, Ashke Bahita, Matt Kuchar, Gary Woodland, Adam Hadwin, C.T. Pond, J.B. Holmes, Kevin Stridler, Ricky Fowler, Vincent Whaley, and withdrawing Yuan Yachun. So there you have it for the Phoenix Open. Next weekend is the Genesis Open from Riviera Golf Course in LA. So we will do some golf. We'll probably give out the pick on the Thursday podcast. Okay, news and notes. We're going to rapid fire news and notes. A lot of Super Bowl stuff that's in there. Andy Reid and Travis Kelce vowed not to retire, so they vowed to come back. So they did the same thing, that Aaron Donald did a few years ago after the Rams won. So there was speculation that he was going to retire, and then he ended up coming back. How about this? The 49ers players didn't know the overtime rules, as multiple players admit they were unaware of playoff rules before the Super Bowl. That's crazy. So Amazon is to stream a playoff game, as Prime Video will have exclusive rights to an NFL playoff game next season. So, There was a viral tweet going around that Troy Aikman tweeted about Patrick Mahomes. Oh my God, he goes, so this was from 2019. Because the Athletic Kansas City, there was a Patrick Mahomes has thrown 36% of Troy Aikman's career touchdowns in about 8% of the games. And then he tweets, in case you missed it, talk to me when he has 33% of my Super Bowl titles. So, there was that tweet going viral. There's some clips of Taylor Swift chugging beer, and they showed it on the big screen at the game. And speaking of Swift, Travis Kelce was pissed at Andy Reid after Travis was on the sideline during Isaiah Pacheco's fumble. And then in the Nickelodeon broadcast, Patrick Starr roasted Christian McCaffrey's fumble. And then Chris Jones cried during the national anthem. You always see the random player crying during the anthem. This time it was Chris Jones. Ice Spice was in Taylor Swift's seat. And there's a clip of Ice Spice and Jason Kelce meeting up. The early favorite to the 2025 Super Bowl is the San Francisco 49ers. So Vegas is thinking what I'm thinking, that the Chiefs have to go through all these quarterbacks, and the NFC's weaker. Real Madrid to host an NFL game in 2025 at Bernabeu Stadium, so that's pretty cool. Draymond Green was also at the Super Bowl at LeBron. I did not bring that up earlier. Yusuf Nurkic made some comments about Draymond Green. Steph Curry said those comments were idiotic. The Eagles are open to trading Hassan Reddick as he's received permission to seek a trade. The Vegas Raiders are aggressive in their quarterback search as they're interested in possibly trading up from 13th for 1. Wow. That would be aggressive. Mac Jones, a trade candidate, as he's expected to be available in offseason talks. Jim Harbaugh says he'd love to have Austin Eckler back. Teams linked to Vikings defensive end Danielle Hunter are the Bears and the Jaguars. The Jaguars would make sense. The Raiders could bring back Josh Jacobs. That is certainly interesting. The Vegas Raiders have zero plans to trade Devontae Adams despite Aaron Rodgers' recruitment. I think he will get traded. Broncos deciding on Russell Wilson soon, as Sean Payne says Wilson will know his future with the team sooner rather than later. So Deebo Samuel left the game because of a hamstring injury, and then he returned after a brief exit. We talked about Dre Greenlaw tearing his Achilles, which was awful. Joe Thuney did not play, but it didn't matter. The Chiefs ended up winning. Former Mets general manager Billy Epler banned this year as he's on the ineligible list for violation of IL rules the last 2 seasons. Yikes. The Padres and the Red Sox are talking about a trade involving Jarren Duran. Chip Kelly leaving UCLA for Ohio State as their offensive coordinator. My take is that Chip Kelly is doing that to see if he can get the Ohio State head coaching job if they underachieve this year. So we'll see who UCLA hires on the flip side. Sad college football news. Bryce Stanfield, who played for Furman, passes away Friday afternoon at the age of 21 years old. 2 days after collapsing at morning workout. That's awful. Thoughts and prayers to that program and his family. Rest in peace to this young man. Notre Dame lands Plexico Burress' son. So that's interesting. And then North Carolina lands Shane McMahon's son, Kenyon McMahon, as he'll be going to the Tar Heels. Right, so Jaden Daniels, Jamar Chase, and Justin Jefferson met up at the Super Bowl on Radio Row, which was awesome. The Patriots could trade the number 3 pick as they may address quarterback need in free agency. That's not the right move. Caleb Williams liked the tweet as he liked the tweet after criticism from a former Bears running back. And the Bears are likely to use the top pick as they would need a historic offer to trade that pick. I think that they should trade the pick because you don't know if Caleb Williams is actually going to be better than Justin Fields right away. And Justin Fields was great most of this year. I mean, there were moments where he wasn't great and then he was hurt. But the case against the Bears extending him is what happened with Daniel Jones this year at the Giants and Geno Smith this year at Seattle. 5 teams made trade up for a quarterback as lack of excitement about next year's quarterback class could shake up the draft order. Wow. Malcolm Brogdon out 2 weeks as he received treatment for tendonitis at his elbow. And one of their teams that were trying to trade for him knew that. Spencer Dinwiddie to sign with the Lakers after he clears the waiver, so that's going to be their buyout guy pickup. Damian Lillard wants to own the Trailblazers as he's absolutely intrigued about being part owner at the end of his career. Philly to sign Kyle Lowry to a $2.8 million deal after the buyout with the Hornets. That's not surprising. Kyle Lowry hasn't been good this year, but maybe he'll be rejuvenated on Philly. Mitch Kupchak is stepping down from the Hornets and will become an organizational advisor. We'll see who they hire to replace him at that position. So there you have it for news and notes. And last but not least, my best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. This is a hard pick for best bet. I'm going to lay a quarter unit. Oof. There's a lot I liked in the NBA. I am not going to take the Rockets against the Knicks. That's what I was looking at for a while. The Wizards-Mavs under is intriguing, but both those teams are allergic to defense. So, I just don't like what I've seen from the Sixers post Embiid. So, I'm going to lay the 10 with Cleveland against Philly. Do I feel good about it? No. So, I'm going to lay a quarter unit on the Cavs minus 10 against Philly for my best bet of the day. All right, so there you have it for the show. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything, looking at everything tomorrow from a regular show standpoint, and then we'll start to do the NFL offseason stuff hopefully tonight. Hope you guys have a great day, everybody.